What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show, and we have got a doozy for you guys on this fine Friday. We're about to be into the weekend, and crypto is receiving great news after great news after great news. Massive shift coming into the crypto space. Breaking within the last hour, Germany officially no longer has any Bitcoin. So while we do have to talk about it on this show, we finally get to stop talking about Germany's Bitcoin issues. Are we going to see a massive pump come because of it? Also, altcoins. There's a couple of altcoins that are looking very juicy to continue moving to the upside this week. What are those ones? You don't want to miss a single second of the show. So first, smash the like button. It's really easy. It's right there, right below us. It's that thumbs up that right now is hollow, but once you click on it, it turns all white. No racial tension there whatsoever. But click on that. And then if you like the show, make sure you hit subscribe. And while you're doing it, we're going to roll an intro. What it do? What it do? T Shroom, no glasses today.
Nope.
But yet you're looking really good. How you feeling today, my friend?
Well, no glasses today, Tim, because I've been doing a lot of packing because we're moving, so I haven't been staring at screens all day. My retinas are not burned out, and if you don't think that's how it works, you're wrong. Good. I know everything about ocular health. I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim. How are you?
Good. I'm doing phenomenal. Did you notice during the intro I shared my screen because I didn't want to get yelled at by you a little bit later on? Yes. So hopefully you appreciate that as much as I appreciate you being here with me today.
Wow.
Got a lot to go. I want to start off by saying, we always, when we're getting into it, just kind of letting everything flow, letting people come in. I had one of those moments today. It's been a great day, but I had one of those moments. It's like the bittersweet. It's like, this is awesome. But I'm like, oh, dang, I'm sad because I'm missing it. My wife, throughout the whole day, she got to go with Brody to the aquarium. I might dump some photos in Discord a little bit later, but the kid's having a great time. But it was one of those things that's like, darn it, I got to be at work while they get to go have fun at the aquarium. But that's the dream right there. I stay at work, I provide, and now I get to let my wife and my child go do whatever they want to do throughout the day. I want them to have a great life. That is the dream that I have looked forward to, and I look forward to that continuing. If that's a dream you guys have to be able to provide for your family and you're finding that route in crypto, put a 1 in chat or a W if that's something you've already accomplished, or even if that's something you're close to. Again, bittersweet because I miss them and I want to go see them, but it's also awesome because those are that's things I've been dreaming about doing since I became a husband, became a father. Let's get into crypto, though. Let's get into things that pay those bills. Crypto having some mixed results today, but I have a feeling that coming this weekend, we're going to see a lot of green. But some of the coins, and we're going to talk about this right behind Mr. Ducky, Maker up 7%. There's actually a pretty good reason as to why T Shroom is going to fill us in on that just a little bit later, but it's up 7%. Ordi up 9.2. Some other big gainers. Ron's up 5.2. Ondo 3.2. And would you look at who's rejoining the pack, everybody? They decided it's time to stop being a stablecoin. XRP up 4.5%. Also, Cardano up 4.2%. So we're seeing some of those coins start to make some moves. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about some altcoins that are looking very ripe for big bull rallies coming. Make sure you stick around, though, for all of that. Let's go ahead and jump in here to our Bitcoin TA, though. Now, I want to start off. I'm very bullish, and I'm really thinking that we could get some stuff going here on Bitcoin. But I was doing some work this morning, re-upping my chart. I always like to take fresh perspective, kind of see what's happening. Let's go down here to the hourly chart. I want to fill you guys in on something that I've updated on the chart right now. So yesterday, let me get rid of this line just for a second because that's what I added today. Yesterday, we talked about a symmetrical triangle pattern that had broken at least temporarily to the upside, but maybe was coming back down and was going to be a fake out. Well, you've seen if this blue line, this descending blue line was resistance, we've actually now turned it into pretty decent support. And once again, we're moving back to the upside. But I started to notice with the trend in play right here, we have a little bit of a rising level of resistance. So even though for the majority of the show today, we have a lot of reason to be bullish right now, I'm not going to lie and disregard some things I'm seeing on the chart that might be a counterpoint or a devil's advocate point to being overtly bullish on Bitcoin. What this would create for us, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to just call it a channel because it's going to take a long time before we come to a point, or whether you're willing to go as I am and saying that this is a wedge formation, this is a rising wedge or a rising channel. Those more often than not, and I'm not saying 100% of the time, so that's why I'm leaving this caveat of a small possibility of it moving to the upside, but more often than not, these ascending channels or ascending wedges break to the downside. Where would that send price down if we do see a bearish break? So let's continue to watch here. Yes, we're all riding a lot of positivity today, and I'm going to show you guys some reason to be positive here in just a couple of minutes. I do want to make sure you guys understand this could potentially still be signaling a price breakdown somewhere closer to 52,500. Now, let me also explain what it is. Unshare my screen for a second, T-shirt, because I think, well, there's a chance it doesn't freak out on me. Give me a second. We're going to come right here. I want to show you liquidation chart, but I didn't refresh it. And so there's a chance it does that thing where it just flashes.
Right.
Ooh, it might be good. It might be good, T-shirt. I think you can go back to my screen. I think we're going to be safe. I think no one's eyeballs or retina is going to be destroyed. There we go. All right, take a look here. This is the last bearish thing I'm going to say, guys. I got to get the bearish stuff out of the way so we can talk about all the positivity moving forward, okay? This is the liquidations chart. Look where we just removed here a couple of days ago on July 4th. We removed a massive amount of long liquidations, and we kind of refreshed the page so we can move to the upside. But in that time frame, we've built up a lot of long liquidation levels right here, just south of 52,000. You can see some bright yellow in there, right around 51.8, give or take. And it really doesn't start to calm down until you get to 50, borderline $49,000. So I want to make sure you guys understand when we're talking about moving to the upside and going up, that doesn't necessarily mean we're done moving down. First of all, there is heavy liquidity that could take us all the way back down towards 50,000. And even there's still a formation in play that could bring us down as well. In fact, when I start to take a look at some of the indicators, you'll see our oscillator right here getting probably dangerously close on the hourly chart to printing a sell order. Well, we'll have negative money flow. We've had a red reversal, and I'm expecting this oscillator to curve over here a little bit, get some bearish confirmation. Don't be surprised if a pullback happens. You're also going to notice here that we're currently working. Now, it looks like we're kind of breaking through it, but we're kind of right in that spot of the hourly smart trail. We have broken it, and it officially now is saying that there's a blue smart trail of support down here at 57,000. So keep that in mind. We also have a breaker block sitting right below us, but we are sitting at a level of potential resistance. If the bulls continue, check out where we'd go probably within the next 12 to 24 hours. We'd come right up here into our take profit just below 60,000, a major level of resistance. Also, though, our take profit and the next level of ascending resistance on this ascending wedge, right? So that's the bearishness. And ultimately, on these lower time frames, that's kind of what we're looking at here. When I go to the daily chart and I go out to the longer time frames, this is when we can talk about staying kind of bullish, because looking at these things, while we do have some heavy resistance up here above us that will continue that short-term time frame bearishness, when I pull up our oscillators, we are still just about, I mean, it's literally probably going to be a week or two away, a couple of days away, honestly, before the daily chart flashes bullish here on Lux Algo. As far as the weekly chart, I told you guys there's a chance the oscillator drops a little bit lower, but ultimately it's getting right back into the spot that historically has marked some amazing bottom signals for Bitcoin. The only times we really go lower than that is when we're actually in a bear market, like back here in July of 2022, January 2022, and so on and so forth. But if you go back to the 2019, 2010, 2020 areas of pullbacks during a bull market, take a look at where the weekly oscillators came back to and got rejected right here around 30 on this RSI. We're right now hovering at about 31. So could we potentially drop a little lower in the next week or two? Absolutely. But we are super, and that means super stupid. I don't know why I added them together there, but it makes my point. We are super close. You guys said it's a stupid point. We are stupid close to the bottom. Whether it's already in and July 5th was the bottom, or whether we dip down just a little bit more, maybe that 52, maybe that 50, I do think that Bitcoin is close to its bottom, and then a massive bull market is coming. Let's now flip into ultra bullish reasons why we need to be excited about it. The first thing that we have to take a look at, I'll show you on my screen, and that is for the first time. Let's go back here. For the first time since January of 2023, okay? For the first time since January of 2023, Bitcoin is back in extreme fear on the Fear and Greed Index. Yes, we ticked in at 25 last night. Let me explain to you why that is so important, right? So right now, there's a lot of fear. What is happening when there's a lot of fear? All the short-term buyers, they're gone. They're afraid. That's really who this is being built off of. What are the newer people kind of thinking? And ultimately, they're in extreme fear. But how afraid are they? Well, the last time that we had this many new investors this scared, let's go back and take a look at what the price actually looked like in January of 2023. Oh, would you look at that? We're talking about $16,000 to $17,000. I'm not a mathematician. I did not graduate with a degree in mathematics. I neither was the top of my class in economics. But there's a pretty significant difference between 58,000 and 17,000. Yet we're sitting at a spot where we're at similar fear levels. That should make you feel super bullish. But another thing that should make you feel super bullish, and I think that T-Shroom's gonna have a little more details. I'm just gonna flash it up here. Germany government. Remember that country over there in Europe that everyone's been freaking out about over the last month because they had $2.4 billion worth of Bitcoin and they were going to dump it on us, and we were heading down to 40,000, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? We can finally stop talking about Germany because this is the account tracked by Arkham showing that the German government's total amount of Bitcoin held is $0 and 0 cents. They have sold the last of it. Now, T-Shroom, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but what are you seeing today? What are your thoughts about this German news coming out? Finally, we no longer have them as suppression on price.
Yeah, it's bullish. It's really bullish because, look, think back to one of the more bearish narratives of 2024, and that was the GBTC sell-off, right? GBTC came to the market as one of the first movers in crypto in general at the big institutional level, right? But when all the ETFs came in, it made GBTC look unattractive because of the higher fees. Well, then folks started to jump ship on GBTC, and that made Bitcoin have a lot of downward sell pressure, right? So similarly, we've kind of seen these mini bearish narratives. Germany selling Bitcoin has been one of the bigger of the mini bearish narratives. That is now over. And there are still sellers in the market, clearly. Otherwise, we'd be north of 65 again today, right? But they're ultimately, the biggest seller has stepped away from the table. It has sold off all of its chips, and it is walking away to do whatever. But what I will point out, Tim, is that Germany, now this is an older image. Obviously, this is not up to date. Germany now has 0. But if you look at it, Germany and the UK had a similar amount of Bitcoin compared to US and China have a similar amount of Bitcoin. Now, this is all, I believe, confiscated, although I do not know in the case of the UK if it was confiscated or in the case of China. El Salvador wasn't. I mean, some of it may have been confiscated, but a lot of it they've bought, right?
Yeah, that's been a lot of buying for El Salvador, yeah.
T-Shroom, why are you pulling up this chart? Because just because Germany sold all theirs doesn't mean that another bearish narrative could come in. Right, and U.S. and China have a lot to sell off if they decided that was going to be in their interest. But we don't really know what the Germans are selling for, other than you just have to assume they're a government, so they're liquidating assets to build bridges or put new desks in schools. Who knows what it is? But ultimately, there could have been another theory that I haven't really seen trotted out much, Tim. I want to hear what you think about this one, is that, these big boys were like, hey, surveying the field, we don't like that other nation states have Bitcoin. UK, sell it. Germany, sell it. Maybe just one of them obeyed, right? Maybe that's kind of maybe it's just some classic geopolitical pressuring and positioning here. That's what we're seeing. That's something you haven't really heard too much about.
I do know. So here's what we do know. Germany has had, if you think you've had economic issues in the United States, Europe has been just obliterated with inflation. I think that the most plausible argument I've heard is that Germany does not want to print more money because they already are dealing with a ridiculous level of inflation. And so they have this asset on hand. And I thought it was lower than that. So 3.2 billion here a couple of weeks ago, it looks like. They had 3.2 billion, and they said, you know what? Instead of printing more money, we can just sell off this Bitcoin. There's also the other one that passes the sniff test potentially, and I'm, get out your tinfoiled hats, everybody, because it's conspiracy time. But it passes the sniff test, in my opinion. Don't be surprised if there was some sort of collaboration to sell off Bitcoin to suppress the price as much as possible so that whales and institutions like the BlackRocks, like the Fidelities, like others who have just become more bullish on Bitcoin this year, so they can buy more cheap Bitcoin. Now, you might be saying, but Tim, why does it go even lower? Remember when I said it's really important to look at this fear and greed index? Got an ad pop up. This really does help recommend to us where the overall feeling is and tells you a lot about where newer investors are thinking. Ultimately, if there's Bitcoin to be sold, if they can convince you to sell your Bitcoin, they're going to convince you to sell your Bitcoin. But at a certain point, all of the newer holders will be gone. All of the weak hands will be gone, and you'll be left with nothing but long-term holders and whales who understand the future of Bitcoin's price, and then you can't suppress price down anymore. So at that point, shorting the market or even trying to sell even more of it is the dumbest thing in the world, because effectively what's happening right now is the whales are saying, hey, you want to drop price back down to 55,000? Yeah, I'll buy more of that. I'll buy 55,000. And BlackRock and Fidelity are sitting here saying, well, no, we want to buy 55,000. So they have to convince somebody else to do it for them, namely like a Germany or other people. But I think what we're seeing, and again, I'm not ruling out we couldn't have one more good push just for all, kicks and giggles and one for the road. But I am saying that I think that we are either already at or dangerously close to the level where there are no more new weak-handed investors left to sell. And when that happens, that is the bell sound to return price to the upside. And when you see things like fear and greed that low in extreme fear, if this was a bear market, if we did not see a lot of the bullish narratives coming into the future, such as no matter who wins the election, it looks like America wants to be very favorable when it comes to crypto. We're seeing left and right, which there's a story later on, I'm teasing it, but the SEC, the biggest, baddest bully on the block that's been trying to pound on the head of cryptocurrency, is giving up all of their accusations. There's nothing but bright lights ahead for crypto. So if that wasn't the case, I might say, you know what, we might have further to go to the downside. But with all of the positivity, the fact that we did just see a Bitcoin halving and have not experienced any real bullishness since it, the fact that we have, no matter who wins president of the United States, a president who is probably going to help produce and build the future of this country with Bitcoin, I think that we have every reason to say low fear and greed index, ultra buying position. It's time to pump it and move back to the upside. I'm not predicting this tomorrow. I'm not predicting it in a month from now. I wouldn't be surprised still if we don't see a new all-time high until late August or early September. But I do think the time of crazy price suppression, it's come and it's gone. Mt. Gox tried, and guess what? At this point, the Mt. Gox news was the bottom, therefore, this far into this dip. The Germany FUD that continues to plague us till today now officially is over. There's nothing left on the table right now to give an argument to suppress price. There's only things left for reasons to buy Bitcoin. Unfortunately, it's not the newer retail investors that will hear it. It's only the long-term holders who think critically and have been around the block a time or two that understand this future and are willing to buy these dips. Yeah. Real quick, shout out to Tom Crown in chat saying, will I see you boys in Nashville at Investing Bros? Tom Crown, you will see us in Nashville. That's a great segue. We're going to talk about this, guys. How about this cast? If you're not going to Nashville, first of all, you need to. There's a link in the description down below. You can still buy tickets. Tom Crown, you're going to agree with us. Has there ever been an amazing lineup like this at any conference whatsoever? Go back to that list here. We got Orange Man is going to be here. Love him or hate him, he is one of the most interesting people. He's one of the most captivating people on the planet. So he is going to be there. Love him or hate him, you probably want to listen to him. Keep going on. Russell Brand. Shout out to Russell Brand. By the way, a new Christian. He's been a Christian now for over a month. I liked Russell Brand for a long time. I just thought he was a very fascinating person, very open-minded, rational, tried to work through things. He's going to be speaking at the Bitcoin conference. I can't wait to hear him. And then look at that. Kathy Woods, Michael Saylor, RFK. Now, teach me when I'm talking about this. Edward Snowden is on here. The probability of Edward Snowden being in the building is probably pretty low. I'm imagining he's calling in, seeing as that he's still wanted for treason in the United States.
Right.
That's probably not an in-building interview, but this is going to be the greatest Bitcoin conference ever. And it's not in Miami. It's in Nashville, which I'm very happy about. Yeah. You guys got to be there. If you have not signed up yet, check out the link below. There are tickets still available. Sign up today.
And One person who's missing from this list, maybe they're further down, but is Cynthia Loomis. So Vivek's on here, Bill Haggerty, a lot of elected officials, a lot of CEOs of some awesome companies. But Cynthia Loomis, I guess since she, her coordinators weren't able to get her over there, who knows why. But she did get on Fox Business News. So let's take a look, take a listen.
But we want to make sure people can have individual wallets for their Bitcoin, so they have that sovereign over their own money. We know we want the US dollar to remain strong. And actually having Bitcoin in reserve can help the US dollar remain strong. But we want to...
You didn't tell how many times he's blinking too?
A lot of blinking.
He was not taking care of his retinas like you were, T-Shroom. He was very dry,
But it's not the first time that we've heard elected officials talking about Bitcoin being added to reserves, right? This is one of those headlines. We've got her up here, so I might as well pull her up too. Kathy Wood included in one of, I think it was the 2023 prospectus for crypto investment. This is one of the things that has to happen in order for Bitcoin to get to that $10 million valuation in the future. Market cap is that sovereign wealth funds and treasuries, national treasuries, the biggest bodies of money in the world, have to start buying Bitcoin. And now you're seeing an elected official in the Senate saying that after Orange Man also said it, I think two or 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So it's very encouraging. Obviously, if you're a holder of Bitcoin, it doesn't get much more bullish than that, considering this was the nerd token just, 10 years ago. So it's pretty crazy to see what happens when they stop ignoring you and start fighting you, and then they join you. Things really pick up, and they pick up quick. Another thing that was ignored for a while and then now has been overcome yet again is Stacks. The layer 2s for Bitcoin here have overcome the SEC. Bitcoin scaling network Stacks avoids charges as SEC closes investigation. So very bullish for Stacks. I'll also point out, I believe this is pretty bullish for Ordi. There may have been separate news for Ordi, but I believe that it's kind of like, if you're prosecuting Coca-Cola, and then Coca-Cola is freed from the prosecution, Pepsi stock's probably going to go up too, depending on if that makes sense. So seeing some good movement there for the Bitcoin layer 2s. Another win for crypto, another loss for the SEC, who's now in the crosshairs, the leader of which, U.S. Congressman Tom Emmer, calls for the firing of the SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Very interesting. Now, Tim, I already owe you a steak, but what happens if Gary Gensler is fired before the Ethereum ETF is launched?
No, listen, you will owe me a steak, because Gary Gensler is not going to get fired until there is a new president sitting in the United States. Okay, so that's the first thing. So I don't care that someone's calling for his firing. We will see an Ethereum ETF to them. But technically speaking, our bet about Bitcoin was not over until July 10th or July 11th when it started trading live. That was our deal. It would not happen. It did. You won that one. Those of you who don't know, we have another stake bet. T-Shroom, he had a bet that he thought that we would not see an Ethereum ETF as long as Gary Gensler was sitting chair for the SEC. He's going to lose that one. At this point, now do you want to make a bet that we see Solana ETF before Gary Gensler is ousted as SEC chairman? That one actually could be very interesting, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. Like I said, I don't see Gary Gensler being put out of his position until inauguration day or inauguration week. I don't know if that's day number 1 movement. I don't know. And this is also assuming we have a changing of the guard of presidency. But my point is, I don't think we have to wait until inauguration day to get a Solana ETF. I think there's an outside chance, because the ball's already getting rolling on that front. We could see one before 2025. T-Shroom, are you willing to take that bet? Or are you going to calm yourself and say, you know what, I think I agree with Tim this time. I'm going to hold off.
Tim, it's not that I agree with you. I'm going to take some time to think about it. I don't know if you've seen that clip of Kanye.
A good decision.
But he's like, I'm not going to answer this right now. I'm going to put time on my side, and I'm going to take a second to think about it. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, but that's a good reasoning. And it's always solid to follow the advice of Kanye West.
Absolutely.
Never has ever served anyone wrong whatsoever to listen to the good old words of
That's
Kanye.
Right. No one man should have all that power. Speaking of no one man, Eric Wallen said, Tim and Tom, are you going to challenge RFK to a push-up competition?
Listen, I don't know if I want to enter that challenge. That man can work out. I mean, he's how old? How old is RFK?
He's old. But
I hope to be half of RFK when I get to his age.
Tom sounds a lot more confident. Tom said it would be cruel. The man's an antique. But I've seen some videos of him.
He's 7 years old. Now, I'll tell you this. I would challenge him to a benching competition. I've seen him bench. I can outbench him. I know that. Push-ups are a completely different thing. I mean, he's a lot smaller than I am. I'm not going to, because I know that's not – push-ups aren't my strength. I probably could knock out 50, but I think that I would not be surprised to know that RFK knocks out like 100 in his sleep. He's just that kind of shape.
He's also, and I hate to say this, but he's also got that that frustration energy because he knows he's not going to win, but he wants to so bad. He's going to he's going to put that into every push-up. Just like this democratic process sucks. Doesn't.
Now, here's what I'll also say. I haven't seen him do push-ups. I also am a big believer push-ups don't count unless your chest touches the ground. I've seen push-up competitions where people do this half crap and they're literally like 6 inches. Their chest is like 6 inches from the ground. So I don't know if I've seen him do push-ups or not. I'm also, maybe there's a difference there. Maybe there's a difference there. I'm a believer. Chest to the ground is essential.
Got some shots fired in the chat at you, Tim. Kyle Field says benching has no real utility.
Yeah, other than the fact that you get to say I bench more than you. And benching is that epitome of whenever anyone says, do you go to the gym? I mean, right now, be very honest with me. When you think of the gym, what is the number one exercise you think of? Do you think of push-ups at the
treadmill?
Gym? Okay. All right. We'll
move on. Okay. So now we're on altcoins. We talked about stacks. They're another win against the SEC. It's great. Some things that are not so great. Unfortunately, there's been a vulnerability pointed out. Squarespace as a counterparty has been hacked. Not the way you'd think. More than 220 DeFi protocols still at risk from Squarespace DNS hijack. Essentially, Squarespace cybersecurity seems like it was kind of vulnerable and weakened, and it hit a pretty big name. I think it's the number 14 TVL, total value locked on DeFi Llama, and that would be Compound. Compound protocol was not affected, but Ethereum-based DeFi protocol Compound and multi-chain interoperability protocol Seller networks were impacted Thursday with their respective front ends, redirecting visitors to a page that drains funds from connected wallets, an occurrence that is all too familiar for many veterans in crypto, many experienced in crypto. So, Tim, it kind of raises the question, is it maybe time to sell Compound? And to add insult to injury, Tim, brace yourself, and any other Compound holders, Compound Finance executives depart amid website hack woes. This is kind of a 1-2 punch here for Compound, and I'll be completely honest with you, bros. I have been pretty bullish on Compound. Why? Because it's the smallest cap crypto available on Robinhood. I think that alone is a bullish story, but I think I'm officially changing my tune, and I'm downgrading Compound to a hold. Why? Because their security team is showing complacency here. That's really the bottom line, right? If you're going to be in crypto, you need to be rock solid, right? And it's hard to do that, right? Because, no matter how many emails you send out saying, hey, we just made all these upgrades to our security, nobody's going to care or read those, but they're going to absolutely pay attention when you get headlines like this with the executives leaving because of a hack website. Now, let me be clear. The protocol for Compound has not been affected. It's not like Coin, the Compound has not been hacked, right? The counterparty, Squarespace, there was a DNS hack, which do I understand that completely? I don't, right? But it looks like Squarespace had an issue, and that is now impacting at least from a PR standpoint and the branding standpoint, Compound, because people who thought they were going to be getting some kind of benefit from Compound got their accounts drained, which sucks so much. And if that has affected you, stay positive, seek help, see if you can find local help. If you got totally knocked out, totally wiped out, right? Don't let the dark thoughts creep in. Reach out, talk to somebody, and there's a lot of people in the crypto community to do that with. But seriously, don't. Life is precious. So moving on though.
Well, I'll tell you this real quick. I mean, that's a great segue into one of the sponsors for the show today. If you guys are looking, and whether it's another coin too, but if you're looking to make a switch fast and cheap, make sure you're using Houdini Swap. You share my screen here, guys. There's a link down below, but it's free, or it's instant. It's the cheapest you will find. And their new option here with their recent update, there's a private level as well. You know, Arkham now ousting everyone's wallets, what people are doing. If you want to hide some of that and have your privacy stay intact about what you're moving around with your crypto, make sure to use Houdini, put it on private. But again, you can swap anything for anything with over 4,000 tokens across all chains. We've seen in recent days a lot of big projects like Polkadot and Avalanche and a lot of others backing and supporting Houdini Swap. It is the #1 swap out there. It's the cheapest. They literally scour the internet for the cheapest fee possible. Make sure when you're making these swaps, and you're going to see us doing this on our shows, when we do portfolio videos, which one will be coming out probably next week, we're going to be doing a lot of swapping over with Houdini Swap. So shout out to them for sponsoring the show, but also being the greatest swap out there. If you're not using Houdini Swap, you're making a lot of mistakes. Go start using them today. Let's get into some altcoins here, T-Shroom, that are good buys this week.
Yeah, so here, I got you one loaded up right here. The first one, we had some really negative thoughts and headlines there from Compound. Comp is the ticker, COMP. But we actually have some very positive thoughts from Maker. Now, this is I think it's a top 100 coin, but you almost never hear about it. Maker DAO's headline, 1 billion tokenized treasury investment plan draws attention from BlackRock, the money name, Build, Ondo, Superstate. Superstate, not one that I've heard of. Let me know in the chat. Have you heard of Superstate? Obviously, Ondo, we talk about quite a bit here on the Investing Bros. Smash the like button. But ultimately, we do have some interesting details here. We think this is a very good move from MakerDAO, and we are excited to participate with BlackRock's Build. Carlos Domingo, CEO of tokenization platform Securitize, BlackRock's issuance partner, said in an email to CoinDesk, as the leading tokenization treasury issuer, we will certainly apply. Doesn't stop there. Ondo Finance, the $550 million RWA platform, maybe you've heard of it, also plans to participate. It's a natural fit in our mission of bringing institutional-grade financial products and services to everyone, said an important key person there. MakerDAO's plan means a significant reshuffling of its reserve strategy as a protocol, one of the first players in DeFi, ushers into a next era of founder Rune Christensen in-game plan. The protocol has spearheaded crypto's real-world asset trend, backing its decentralized stablecoin and part of the U.S. government bonds, bills held off-chain with a range of partners. So it's a mouthful there, Tim, but it's essentially you get associated with BlackRock, you get bought. That's the short story here. And hopefully MakerDAO, the best case for MakerDAO right now is that a bunch of retail kind of comes back in very soon, which we see maybe some early indications on the Bitcoin charts of that. But right now, these are the type of headlines that the experienced crypto investors know to act on, right? And unfortunately, a lot of noobs are just not even clocking the market at all right now, so they're going to miss this one. But getting an association with BlackRock, it's big. It's now right up there on the same list as Ondo, which is kind of in that same category. Tim, how bullish is this? Let's look at the charts for Maker as well.
Yeah, well, the first thing I was going to show everybody is if you want to know a good coin to buy for this bull market, take a look at this list over on CoinMarketCap. This is the real world asset list. And I'm covering some of it, but I'll scroll for you. These are a lot of these, not all of them, but a lot of these are under the name, are being utilized by the name BlackRock as well. But you got AVAX, of course. We've been very big on AVAX. It hasn't had the greatest last 90 days necessarily, but there's still such a bright future for it. Chainlink, of course, it's hard to go a show without talking about Chainlink. Shout out to username. Go buy some more Chainlink. ICP, a real world asset that has a lot of attention. People have been fudding and down on ICP. I still think there's a lot of bright futures there. Then right beneath it, Maker actually right now is the number 4 in real world assets, and it's only going to get even better with the backing of BlackRock. Of course, you still have VeChain, Ondo, Mantra, Quant, Synthetics. I'm not telling you guys that I own all of these, but I'm telling you one of the perks we have with our Pro Bros, one of our membership options, once a quarter we do a portfolio review. So when you're one of our members, you get to come on with either myself, T-Shroom, or Crux, all of us with years of experience, understanding what the things that are, good investments, bad investments. We're not going to tell you exact details, but we'll help give you some coaching feedback on how to think about it. If anyone came to me with any of these names in their list of portfolio holdings, Even if it doesn't match what I hold, I would say, man, it's really hard, really, really, really hard to have a problem with any real world asset in your portfolio. So that's a great place to start. Let's check out some coins and take a look at technical analysis on some of the coins that I think are doing very, very well. Thank you for that, T-Shroom. Gotta kick him in when he's down. All right, here we go. Stacks, as we already mentioned, with a massive win. And a win that doesn't just bode well for Stacks, but bodes well for crypto, because it's once again another loss for the SEC to their power and authority trying to claim that certain cryptocurrencies are securities. They are no longer pursuing Stacks. This is something that they've already actually in the last couple of days been breaking out from a support level touch of a descending channel, but should only continue to the upside. And really, some people are going to say, oh, well, isn't there an order block here in play around 175? No, there's not. That is not a bearish order block. Look at what, first of all, it's not a very significant one. There's not a lot. These green and red bars aren't very thick, but also the red is thicker than the green, meaning the bears are more exhausted at this spot, meaning anyone who is shorting back here probably is looking to exit their short positions as price gets back up to this level, and there's less bulls that'll be exhausted. In fact, I don't really see resistance until we get back up to this red resistance level and the red cloud called the smart trail. However, you have seen here already, we had a sell order way back here in June. We hit our take profit prediction all the way down here below $1.34. It is time to start moving to the upside. And even though there might be some slight hesitation once again at our resistance level, let me turn off Luxalgo for just a second. When we get a breakout, it will be very, very explosive, with the price popping up above that resistance level, somewhere closer to prices we saw way back here in April, back up to around $3 for Stacks. This is something I absolutely am saying you guys need to be looking out for. Once again, when you start to look at our different indicators here, while the money flow actually started flowing positive way back in June, we've still gone down in price as far as price action is concerned, but the oscillators have been climbing. This is what we call bullish divergence. It's something that's very, very important. But notice here the other day, if you guys have been following Luxalgo, using the Luxalgo indicator to help your trades, you just got another great buy signal with bullish divergence, green reversal, green momentum, and excessively positive money flow. That would have made you buy where? Right here, back on the dip, back on the 8th, 9th area, and you would still be in profit on that trade right now. When you move up to larger time frames, even the weekly chart, remember we talked about Bitcoin? We are back down to historical levels where during a bull market, this is as far down as oscillators usually pull before reversing and going back to the upside. So if you're waiting for the weekly chart to flash, boom, massively oversold, you have to buy at this level, you're going to wait till the next bear market, which isn't going to happen for probably another two and a half years, if not longer. So don't wait on that. When the daily chart says we're oversold and we need to buy, that's when you buy. But the weekly chart, you have to know how to read it specifically. And right now, the weekly chart is saying that Stacks, like a lot of other coins, is at least extremely close, if not safe to say the bottom is already in. And once again, when you pair the charts with the news coming out, this would imply a major buy level for Stacks. Let's move to another coin. And some people are going to hate it, but guess what? It's hard today to say that you are anti-Cardano. Guess what? Even if you don't think we're hitting new highs, you at least can agree that we'll be bouncing to the upside. And Cardano once again has made a break, but this one looks to be sustained, a break above this resistance level of a falling wedge, with a breakout target hitting close to 70 cents, but probably stopping somewhere just south of it. You know, the target's actually sitting at about 68 cents, give or take. But there's a lot of sustained power here with Cardano. What I want to say, though, to make sure we kind of confirm this bullish movement, technically, we have not seen a higher high in Cardano since way back in March of this year, right? So it's been several months. We are dangerously close, even at current price action at 41 cents, of getting above that level. Now, I told you guys before, this is a level of resistance. We have a bearish level of resistance. We have the smart trail in play as well. But if we get up above that smart trail, and it's going to be in the range of about 44 cents, if we can conquer 44 cents with Cardano and turn this daily smart trail, let me get rid of the order block so you can see it more clearly. If we can turn that back into a blue support level, this would be a major win for Cardano. And I'm not saying it's a straight shot. There's probably some volatile up and down movements, but Cardano is well on its way back up above 60 cents. And then we'll kind of look back and say that July 5th, the same day that Mt. Gox finally started giving their Bitcoin back to the people that everyone was so afraid about, it actually ended up being a perfect mark of the bottom of this pullback on crypto. Cardano is one definitely to keep an eye on. But, we were speaking about real world assets here just a second ago. Another one. Now, it's not breaking out necessarily just like Cardano is, but it's in a similar spot. This morning, I'm not going to talk that much about it. I'm going to get rid of this. We actually talked about AVAX. In my VIP trading group, we talked about the right scenario and what to look for on how to set up a long position for AVAX. Either way, you should be looking for one coming very soon. I'm not guaranteeing that we're just straight up and to the right from here. But what I am seeing, once again, just like everything else, I am seeing this falling wedge pattern, just like Cardano. I'm seeing reason for that to move to the upside. When I look at the oscillators, a lot of buying pressure starting to come in on our oscillators, both daily and weekly, for the same arguments I just gave you on Cardano. But then again, the other big reason is because this is the time where real-world assets are going to start heating up. We've seen some great news recently for Ondo. We've seen recent amazing partnerships with Chainlink. We're now seeing amazing news for Maker. The entire real-world asset space is getting ready to rip to the upside, and AVAX still is actually the leading coin of that pack. Look for just the discussion about real-world assets to come back into heavy discussion, and AVAX will be one of the benefiters of that as well. Let's see. Is there any other coins? I mean, there's a lot of coins definitely I'm saying buying, but coins that I would say definitely to buy this week. I'm trying to look for some others that would be worth it. Let's take a look real quick at Jasmy. Jasmy's a coin that's been fascinating for us here at the Investing Bros for a while, sitting right below a thick level of resistance. But if we do conquer this around almost 3 cents, it's going to be around 2.8 cents, but that's 2.8 cents. If we can get back above that level, the Jets are back on here for Jasmy. Let's take a look, though, at what its indicators have said. On July 5th, we hit its take profit level. Is there a big order block down here around 1.7 cents? Yes, there is. But we got a lot of room between us and the next significant level of resistance, all the way up at 3 cents. That is something absolutely I'm looking at to take advantage of. Take a look at this as well. I love this. This is definitely one to add to the list to take a look at buying this week. The stochastics RSI is moving bullishly after staying down low, but has a lot of room to the upside. RSI bottomed out not long ago. MACD is about to cross bullish. And over here, while it has not officially launched just yet, and maybe you have to wait a couple of more days for it to launch, we have the green reversal. We have the green momentum after being massively oversold here on the Luxago oscillator. But we also see the money flow keeling over, about to go back to the upside, with the excessive sellers no longer able to push to create more excessive selling. When that leaves, this could be a major release for the bulls here on Jasmy coin, and we could easily shoot at least up here to that 3 cent zone. We're talking about a rally before significant resistance coming up of about 30%, give or take 28%. But I wouldn't be surprised if we dip here a little bit. About 30% gains for Jasmy before we hit the next level of resistance. And that's just resistance. If we're able to break that smart trail and reconquer it for the bulls, I think we're talking about a new all-time high for Jasmy coming not too far after. Sorry, not new all-time high, because that would be way up here at like 36 cents. A new high for this bull market above the price level currently of 4.5 cents. So keep an eye on Jasmy as well. T-Shroom, any other coins on your radar? And then we'll open it up for the audience to also ask us to take a look at some of their favorite coins. But any other coins that you're looking at right now that you're saying, man, these look like juicy buying opportunities?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, my bags right now, my personal financial situation is that I'm coming off a wedding at the beginning of June, right? So I don't have a ton of dry powder, right? A lot of that's going to servicing some of the payments that were made for that. But I'd say right now, the last buy I've made was actually MicroStrategies, and I bought it before the split was announced, so that was pretty good timing. Also picked up some AVAX, I believe that was my last crypto pickup. People sleep on AVAX. It's been very oversold in my opinion, but it looks good. It really does. The technology, buying quality. It's got an association with JP Morgan. And bros, you may be tuning in and you're like, man, you guys have kind of singing the praises of BlackRock and JP Morgan. it's not like we're sitting here saying that this is the next Catholic Church, right? That these guys are like the most moral and upstanding institutions in the world, right? What we're saying is that when you're associated with big money movers and you're an investor, don't be afraid to make money. That's why you're in the market, right? You don't have to agree with every single thing that's going on at a corporation to make money off of buying and selling their stocks. So, that's kind of the way that I'd look at it. AVAX, probably my answer there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very good reason there as well. The other one that I don't want to move on, and we're going to read some of the chat here in a second, but the other one that you cannot ignore from a fundamental reason, and I think there's chart reasons as well, but Ethereum. Guys, we're days away from the Ethereum ETF. Now, yes, the last time we got an ETF go live, did we see the markets dip? We did. That happened with Bitcoin. The difference, though, is that we were rallying into the ETF launch with Bitcoin and then had a week and some change of bearish pressure before the rally continued. In this case, we've been dipping into the actual announcement, in which case that makes me believe that this will actually be a bullish event rather than a bearish one similar to Bitcoin. But take a look at the charts here, and I might grow tired of saying this because I said it now a couple times, but in case you're watching today for the first time, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hit subscribe and the like button. It's free of charge. But this right here, back in May 14th, this is when we heard the switcheroo from old Gary Gensler and the SEC that he no longer was going to be pursuing Ethereum as a security, and he would entertain the idea of Ethereum becoming an ETF, a spot ETF. Well, price would go to rally from 2,800 all the way up close to 4,000 within pretty much 1 week, right? It took a little bit longer to officially touch there, but 1 week was the majority of the bullish price action. Guess what's happened since then? Even though there's been no reason to be bearish on Ethereum, the price has cooled off where? Right back down to 2,800. Why is that? The reason why is because that news sparked a lot of retail buying down low, and you can see here within just 1 day, back on May 20th, this was the majority of the rally with over 18% of the gains coming on that 1 day alone. This is not an opportunity that the institutions were able to take massive advantage of buying Ethereum. So what happened was they said, you know what? We're going to sit this one out. We'll allow the price to rally. We will then suppress price back down to where the level where the hype started in the first place. And now all the short-term buyers for Ethereum or normal buyers, they're so cautious waiting for another big dip to the downside that they're not going to be buying this level. This is the perfect example and perfect rationale for institutions to buy up before that ETF launches, and then it's off and up to the right. Like I said on Bitcoin, guys, when we had the ETF go live, it was right here on January 11th. What happened on January 11th? We shot to the upside and then had about a week and a half of crashing happen right after, about 20%. But after we dealt with the volatility, right? Surge to the upside, fall to the downside, we would go on Bitcoin's price to rally 91% in a scheme of literally about, let's see, I heard here, pretty much about 50 days, give or take, right? A month and a half. Within 1 month and a half, Bitcoin's price almost doubled following the ETF launch. Ethereum, I think, can do greater than that. I would not be surprised to see Ethereum's price over double, maybe even 150% to the upside, in which case we're talking about Ethereum price level possibly getting up towards, I have to continue to move my chart because I wasn't bullish enough. We could easily see, I say easily, that's a lot though. We could easily see a new all-time high, but could we potentially see $7,000 for Ethereum before the election season? Some of you might say that's crazy. I think it's not really that crazy at all. This is something Ethereum definitely could do, especially in light of the fact that this is still nowhere close to where many expect Ethereum to be by the end of the bull market, up between 18 to 20,000. Some of you might even think that is low, but do not be surprised whatsoever to see Ethereum pop off. Whether it only gets to 5,000 or 7,000, upward mobility is coming for Ethereum. That ETF, whether it's bullish on the day of or not, is a long-term, very bullish move for Ethereum. And I do believe that's another one you should be looking this week to add to your bags if you don't have a very big Ethereum bag in the first place.
Yep. Not financial advice. Anything you've seen on this channel at all or on any of our social platforms, right? What do? We talk about awesome advice and scientific advice as well.
let's see again. Stupid thing. We always got to give a shout out to one of the people who comes in. Here's the thing about Stupid Thing, and that's his name. You're not being mean. We're not being mean here. Watches every single day. Probably the epitome of consistent viewers here on the channel. So first of all, shout out to you for being here every single day. He said, if I see $7,000 Ethereum, I will never watch YouTube again.
What do you say?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that he will continue to watch the show every day. Secretly, I think Stupid Thing is our #1 fan, but he had a rough childhood.
Why do you say he? Stupid Thing, the profile picture is a gymnast, female gymnast.
You're right, T-Shroom. People will always use a image that reflects the true identity of who they are. I should have known that. All right, Stupid Thing. Stupid Thing, whether you're a he or a she, thank you for your comments. I hope you have a good nap. All right. Let's get into some charts of what you guys want to see. I've seen a lot of people asking for optimism. Let's take a look at what optimism looks like. Now, optimism had been growing a rising channel. It broke down below, but we're back up to that level of former support. Is it going to become resistance, or can we break back up above it? That's going to be very important here. What do we have on the cards? Now, it's not a very strong order block, but there's an order block right in the area. We do see a smart trail coming up as high as back to $2.03. Take profit up towards $2.20. Where are we sitting with oscillators at the moment? We got a great buy signal here not that long ago. This one right here would have been it. It would have been not the greatest buy spot in the world, but we flashed another one right here at the bottom of this dip, right? So I think there's a little room to the upside right here. That does though give me a little bit of pause. I feel like I need to see us get it back above and sustain this blue line to feel overwhelming confidence. And then you might be able to say in the hindsight, this was a glitch where we dropped below it, and really we should be rallying back to the upside of this, probably somewhere in the range now. Is this yeah, there we go. Let's just kind of change it there. Probably somewhere closer to the range back towards $6.75, $7, give or take, high to the upside. Let's see what the weekly chart's saying here for optimism. Now, the coin existence on this chart only goes back to May of 2022. So there's only going to be so much data we have. But here's what I'll say. The last time we were at this level on the weekly oscillator, it was way back here, June of 2023. That was the bottom before we had a rally. Now, we kind of almost double bottomed the area, but we never dropped back down below that price again. We hit that level again. The MACD's at an all-time low for the weekly. The RSI is at an all-time low for the weekly. So there's that. I mean, weekly chart-wise, not going to lie, there's reason to be hopeful. We bounced off of a weekly order block, a bullish order block here perfectly. We hit our take profit on the sell order already. So I'm not seeing any reason on the weekly chart to think that this should sustain more bearishness. The daily chart, we had a lot of room to the upside. Let's just get above the blue line. Let's turn that smart trail back into being blue, and then I'll feel much more confident about optimism. But here's what I will say. Compare optimism to its cohorts. And by cohorts, I mean other major Ethereum level layer 2s. Arbitrum, not the greatest chart in the world necessarily, but it does give me it gives me a reason to think that's an amazing buying opportunity. So that's what I'll give Arbitrum. But Optimism has held up better than it, and it has also held up better than its other counterpart, Matic. Now, I'm bullish on Matic and Arbitrum. I'm going to own all three of them. But Optimism has been the one to have the least significant pullback compared to historical prices. It did not set new lows even for this bear market, like we saw with both Arbitrum and almost with Matic as well. So I like Optimism. I'm going to hold it. There's just a couple things I want to see before I'm uber bullish. The other thing I'll kind of point out here, there's definitely a formation of types in play right here, a little bit of a falling wedge as well. So that's going to be bullish. That's going to be bullish for Optimism for sure. Guess what? It's going to hit that just perfectly right there. It's going to hit the smart trail right on level of resistance. So I'll put this in the same camp. I think I put, what was the other one we were talking about that was similar to this? AVAX. I think AVAX has to do the same thing. It needs to break through that level of resistance and its smart trail sitting at the exact same spot. Then we'll talk about the overwhelming bullishness coming. We're below there. So either way, I think that might still be a good buy for this week. Would not be mad at you if you're DCAing into Optimism because there's a lot of reason to do so. So let's see how that one plays out long term. Nigel Condon with is that a British pound? $12 British pounds?
Oh, you think
Love your
Nigel?
channel. No, that's not British pounds. Excuse me. That's a euro, right?
Yeah, I think so. Euro.
Okay. All right.
12. Nigel.
We love you, Nigel. We love you. We don't necessarily love your currency. Love your channel. Why I know that's not personal. Does anyone love the? Okay, if you live in Europe, do you love the euro? I live in America. I don't love the dollar, so I'm not. It wasn't a personal attack on Europeans. It was a personal attack on fiat currency.
Tim, not to change the subject, but
we have to read the super chat.
When I hear Nigel do, this is what I think of. Is this what you think of?
All right, now we might be getting personal. If you're going to start profiling Nigel. I think Nigel is a great guy. I don't know that character. What's that character? I don't even know what that is.
Tim, why do you keep bringing up distractions? Let's get to this super chat. Okay. Love your channel. Why the heck would Coinbase Wallet tweet a pinned video where a 100M, I think million coin called Kendu Inu on Ethereum is in the video? It happened yesterday, and it's displaying 16 seconds into the video?
I have no idea.
This sounds like... Look,
we got a lot of lead up to that question, Nigel, and I don't know how much we're going to do with the answer side of it.
First of all, I think what most people would do here, this is clearly some bait, right? And or maybe not. Maybe this is the best alpha you're ever going to see on YouTube, but clearly to me, kind of looks like bait. I think what a lot of people from here would be like, thank you so much, Nigel. This is a slightly above average donation. Let's go check out this Coinbase video and see what you're talking about, and then they're going to spend the next 10 minutes fumbling through Twitter to try to find the video, and they're not, right. Whatever. But they're going to have said the name of the coin probably 3 or 4 times, right?
And we instead just spend about 5 minutes talking about what we would have done, and then we don't end up doing it. So that's what you get when you sign up for the Investing Bros. Let's get a super chat here from Stupid Thing, Miss Stupid Thing. Would you fill my CM? Okay, I don't like how this is phrased. Would you fill my CME gap with? Okay, I'm not finishing. I'm going to start reading super chats before I'm going to read them in my head before I read them out loud.
Yeah, somebody is very glad that it's Friday. I am also glad that it's Friday. Yeah. We're having fun. Yeah. And I do have the pleasure of bringing us a super chat today from the super chat. Goodness. Factoid.
Factoid.
Today's factoid of the day is brought to you by decrypted.tax. I might be slightly dehydrated today, bros. I'm letting down the community. I need to hydrate. If you're looking for a tax pro that you can trust, we know, like, and trust decrypted.tax. Tell Ernest that we sent you, or click the link down below for 25% discount on decrypted.tax's professional tax services. You can find that at decrypted.tax. Now, Tim, featuring in the Toy Story films, this man is the voice of Buzz Lightyear. Is it A? Now, you think it's easy, but you've thought some are easy before, and you failed.
It's D.
Okay, is it A, Chevy Chase, B, George Clooney, C, Ray Romano, or is it D, Tim Allen?
It's D.
All right, he's locking in D. Let's give the bros a chance to trying to think about maybe what they thought it was. What about Nigel Thornberry? Who did the voice for Nigel? I don't know. Neither do I.
I, again, don't know this reference. I don't know what show this is from, but I do know Toy Story answer.
I think it's Rugrats.
Tim Allen.
It's like a Rugrats movie. All right.
I think I wasn't allowed to watch. I wasn't allowed to watch Rugrats because there was kids in it that were disrespectful.
Yeah, Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. Okay. Surprise, surprise. Yay!
There he is. Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Woody.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. No. Story Films voiced Tim Allen. We're having fun.
Do you know who voiced, without looking it up, do you know who voiced Woody?
Well, I'm not the one coming up with these. Don't act like I'm the one coming up with these. It's the factoid elf.
All right, that's true.
This little guy right here, this swinging his feet. What was your question?
Who voiced Woody?
Woody?
Yeah.
Oh man, that.
Think Lost on an Island.
Oh, Hanks. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. That's right. Old Thomas Hanks.
Cool. 3:59. I don't think we finished a show on time in a long time.
we got another super chat here from Pug saying, "I am dog."
I am dog.
See, I can read that one easily, and here's the thing, guys. This is a family-friendly show. Stupid Thing, you're welcome to come in every single day, but I can't be reading out super chats that go in that direction, right? This is a family show. I want to keep it that way so that if you guys had your teenagers or your middle schoolers, or maybe even you're trying to get your kids up early, 5-year-olds. I want 5-year-olds to watch this show to start learning how to be financially free at 5 years old.
Not trading or investing.
Listen,
at 5.
They can do it with their parents' permission, T-Shroom. So if you're the type of parent who says, we're going to throw this kid in the fire and they're going to learn the right way, let your 5-year-old start trading. Listen,
where can a 5-year-old trade anything? Where are you talking about?
Sign them up.
Give
them the mouse and the keyboard. Give them like $20 and let's see what they can do.
I think there's some versions of this that I could get on board with, but I think 5-year-old and investing do not mix. Just like trying to run a country and being on the other end of the age scale, maybe don't mix as well, which we're learning all too well.
Crux of Crypto's in chat. He's reminding us it's Friday.
It is Friday. It's Friday,
which means we're going to be doing a live giveaway we have 3 of them, actually. We have a giveaway today for our members. So this is all of our Technicals and Pro Bros members. Go to my screen here. We got this beautiful little screen. I haven't chosen them yet, so I'm going to have to choose them randomly. We have a $50 bonus giveaway for our Blowfin users. But remember, we are now sponsored, everybody, by CoinW. If you're looking to trade, make sure to sign up with CoinW. We're going to do the Blowfin giveaway for a couple more weeks, but then we'll be switching to just the CoinW one. CoinW's $50 bonus will start next week, but today we'll do a $50 giveaway. So for the first week of the giveaways for CoinW, go sign up with the link down below. There's some people already in, so they're the ones that are eligible for this giveaway. But you'll get just $50 cash sent to your Coinbase wallet or your Uphold wallet or maybe your MetaMask wallet. I don't know where we're going to send it. That's up to you and your wallet. But let's start off, T-Shirt, with the fancy wheel. The wheel, we have several names on here. I'm not counting how many that is, but one of these lucky winners will win our $50 giveaway. Let's see who it is. I don't think you guys get to hear the fancy sound that I get to hear. So
our drum roll's definitely not long enough.
It looks like it's Rich & Co.
Oh, nice.
Rich & Co. You are the winner of today's 50. So what's going to happen is in Discord, here's the thing about Discord, guys. Whether you're a member or whether you're not a member, we don't DM you first. There's a reason why we tell you guys to DM us. It's because there's a lot of fake Tims and fake T-Shrooms and fake Cruxes out there. They want to steal your money. We're not going to do that, obviously. So, Rich & Co., make sure you reach out to us on Discord. We will get in touch with you and get you your $50 winning. Now, for this one, T-Shroom, I'm not going to share the screen because I'm not going to release people's names, but I do got to pick some lucky winners from our giveaways over. Let's start with Blowfin. Our Blowfin winner, I'm not looking. I just got to scroll through and find one of our traders. I'm going to choose their trade, and it's going to be the one who wins. It's going to be Rufio. He had a trade. Wow, a 91% trade. All right, now, I'm not going to recommend that people copy this trade. And I can't show it again because I don't want to release people's information. Rufio, you are the winner. I'm going to put a symbol next to this to remember that you're the one. Let's go 100. He traded Bitcoin with an 150x leverage.
Goodness gracious.
And he's up 91%. So Bitcoin didn't even move. It was a long position. It didn't even go up a full percentage, but he went up 91% was his trade. So
don't do
congratulations, Rufio. What a risk. We do not recommend that level of a risk. But reach out to me with your UID and I will make sure you get your trading bonus. Now it's time for our CoinW winner. The winner of this one, T-Shirt, do you have something funny to say? I'm gonna just close my eyes and scroll.
150x leverage on anything. Come on.
It's crazy. It's absolutely ludicrous. That means if the price had dropped by 0.75%, he would have lost his entire position. I hope he wasn't trading with his life savings or anything.
I'm impressed by that quick math, Tim. All right. Who's our next winner?
Our next winner, and this one's going to get $50 this week. Starting next week, it'll be $50 trading bonus on CoinW. Rick G. It looks like he traded Ondo with a long on a 5X and gained 27.9%. Shout out to Rick G. Amazing trading. He's been actually posting a lot in there. He has been crushing it. Shout out to all of our traders. If you want to be able to trade, make sure, again, check out the link down below for CoinW. And it just killed my page, so I can't show you. There we go. We're back on it, Hitesh. You show my screen. Make sure to check out CoinW. Extremely easy to trade with over 300 spot trading pairs, well over 100 leverage trading pairs with leverage all the way up to 125x. I don't recommend going any higher than that for any reason whatsoever. Make sure to check out CoinW. And when you sign up, again, you not only get $50 just for signing up, You get another $50 for entering your first trade ever, and you get eligible in our Discord every single week to win another $50 trading bonus. Shout out to you guys who won. Shout out to CoinW. Thank you for sponsoring our channel.
Really quick.
With that said,
really quick, because I knew you were going to go straight to outro from there. Susan Shrum has provided a good moment.
Mama Shrum.
Y'all need to quit changing the subject. When is Mama Shrum getting her brother's, I assume, Investing Bros hat? Can't hear because I don't know what that. There was a good question in there somewhere. Yeah. Where are the hats, Tim? I got a picture today of a good-looking hat. Do you have? I can pull it up if you don't have it.
So, is this gonna focus?
There you go.
There we go. I've built now 8 hats. I've created them with my own hands. Really painless nights of needles and thread putting these hats together.
They're handcrafted by us.
The hats are here. They're being produced. I've made about 8 of them today. By the time of the conference, which I'll be able to give some of them to you guys in person, those of us who are meeting in conference, I'll have a lot more made. But if for some reason you're like saying, man, how the freak do I get one of those hats? Well, right now we'll have giveaways in the future. Mama Shrum gets a free hat. I just want to burst everyone's bubble there. If you birthed one of the people on this show, you automatically qualify for a free Investing Bros hat. That's going to go to Mama Shrum. Mama Warren hasn't tuned in. I'm not sure how much Mama Warren knows about the internet. I'm working on it. But Mama Shrum, you definitely get a hat. All of our Pro Bros also get a hat. So if you're signed up for our membership options under Pro Bros, you get a free hat, as well as that one-on-one education with your portfolios, and as well as getting into our VIP training group and other places. Make sure to check out all of our membership options to get more involved with the bros so you can learn more about trading, investing, and making that generational wealth for your family so that you can live a very long, prosperous, and healthy life. Again, another thing about it is that you can live a blessed life. T-Shum and I say this all the time. We believe that we have been blessed so that we can bless other people. I hope you guys share the same sentiment. With that said, though, guys, this is the last show of this week because tomorrow, I announced this yesterday, but tomorrow is mine and my wife's 5th-year wedding anniversary. So we will not be going live. T-Shum is moving. I'm going to be spending some time with my wife celebrating 5 years. There will be no Saturday show, but we will be right back right here Monday morning, bright and early. You do not want to miss it. Love you guys. See you Monday. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better than cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better than cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.